Sutta number 149. Mahasalayatanika Sutta, the great sixfold base. Thus have I heard on one occasion, the Blessed One was living at Savatthi in Jeta's grove, Anatha Pindika's park. There he addressed the bhikkhus thus. Bhikkhus, Venerable Sir, they replied. The Blessed One said this. Bhikkhus, I shall teach you a discourse on the great sixfold base. Listen and attend closely to what I shall say. Yes, Venerable Sir, the bhikkhus replied. The Blessed One said this. Bhikkhus, when one does not know and see the I as it actually is, when one does not know and see forms as they actually are, when one does not know and see I consciousness as it actually is, when one does not know and see eye contact as it actually is, when one does not know and see as it actually is, felt as pleasant or painful, or neither painful nor pleasant, that arises with eye contact as condition, then one is inflamed by lust for the eye, for forms, for eye consciousness, for eye contact, for the feeling felt as pleasant or painful, or neither painful nor pleasant, that arises with eye contact as condition. I plus form, when they come together, I consciousness arises. Do you remember I consciousness? Yes? So I consciousness arises when I, the organ I, and a form come together. The meeting of number one I, number two form, and the I consciousness number three together is called eye contact. Yeah? Eye consciousness arises only when there is I and form. Yeah? I plus form plus eye consciousness is eye contact. Clear so far? Yeah. So I see something. You see this coconut water in Ekta's hand. What happens to you? I came in contact with form. I as in not capital I. The organ I came in contact with the form. Yes, I and form together is I consciousness arose. Till that time there was no I consciousness. What is consciousness? Vijnana, cognition. Yeah. So today B1 learns there is Vijnana, Sanya, Vedana and Sankhara. So what we call cognition in this book Bhikkhu Bodhi has called consciousness. We have learned there are multiple types of chittas. So there are multiple types of Vijnana chitta. Yeah? What are they? So there is all the five senses plus mind. Those are the 6 types of consciousness that arise. Tell me, what are they? Eye consciousness, ear, nose, touch. Touch as in body. It's called body consciousness. And taste or tongue. And mind. These are the 6 types of Vijnana chitta. I plus form together gives rise to I consciousness. I consciousness, form plus I together gives rise to eye contact. Eye contact, when that is the condition, what happens? There is some Vedana felt in me. Either it is painful, or it is pleasant, or it is neither painful nor pleasant. Super clear? Yeah. So you see there is one precondition for the next to arise. Now again this becomes the condition for the next to arise. Now again this becomes the condition for the next to arise. Is it becoming clear? So write your sequence. How will you write it? I plus form. Wait, I plus form is gives rise to I consciousness. Now with I consciousness as condition, eye contact happens. Yeah? Your eye consciousness, I and form together as condition, eye contact happens. With eye contact as condition, I feeling. There are many feelings. Ears, with sound you'll have a separate feeling. With touch, body consciousness you'll have a separate feeling. So, I feeling, E-Y-E. So with eye contact as condition, I feeling arises. Super clear? When these conditions are broken, what will happen? When I see just form as form, I as I consciousness as I consciousness, yeah, eye contact as eye contact, I feeling as I feeling, I will not connect the two or the 2-3 things, and I will not react to the Vedana. When I react to the Vedana, there is lust. You had lust, no, for this coconut water when you saw it. Yeah. So when you see it as it is, this I feeling as I feeling, eye contact as eye contact, eye consciousness as eye consciousness. The lust does not arise for. When one abides, inflamed by lust, fettered, infatuated, contemplating gratification, then the 5 aggregates affected by clinging are built up for oneself in the future. Then you have lust, you keep thinking about it, you want it, you're infatuated by it, you keep imagining when I get it, how I will feel, the gratification. So you're lost in that. So when you're lost in all that, the 5 aggregates affected by clinging are built up. What are the 5 aggregates? Correct. Vijnana, Sanya, Vedana, Sankhara, Rupa, the matter. For that matter only Vijnana comes up. For that matter only Sanya comes up. Whatever the matter is. It's a human being, it's a table, it's a light, it's a lamp, it's a situation, it's all Rupa. Matter. Yeah. So, Rupa, Vijnana, Sanya, Vedana and Sankhara. These are the 5 aggregates of clinging. You keep clinging again and again. The moment you say something, what happens? Sanya labels it. The moment Sanya labels it, what happens? Vedana kicks in. If it's a pleasant label, pleasant sensation. Unpleasant label, unpleasant sensation. Then what happens? I react. Am I reacting to the Rupa outside actually? What am I reacting to? The Vedana inside. These are the 5 aggregates of clinging. Repeat that once again. When one abides, inflamed by lust, fettered, infatuated, contemplating gratification, then the 5 aggregates affected by clinging are built up for oneself in the future, and one's craving, which brings renewal of being, is accompanied by delight and lust, and delights in this and that increases. Make sense? Yeah, you want it more and more and more. Sankhara is created. Again, in future, the sankhara comes up and you want it more and more and more. One's bodily and mental troubles increase. One's bodily and mental torments increase. One's bodily and mental fevers increase. And one experiences bodily and mental suffering. How body and mental suffering by looking at coconut water? Explain. It's only coconut water. Good for health. How suffering? Explain. Yes, so I have a craving and I just let the craving increase without becoming aware of it. It creates an impression and that impression keeps kicking in. So Ekta gets coconut water. I don't get. Why is she so special? Why am I not special? And your mind goes on and on. Unnecessary logic, unnecessary blah, 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 blah. Whose meditation is affected? Yours. Did you get the coconut water? No. Who did you keep thinking about? Ekta and the coconut water. Is Ekta troubled? Who is in mental and body suffering? Understood? It's a very simple example. We do this to ourselves with all our cravings and aversions. Yeah, we keep thinking about that person, that situation. That person and situation is not bothered about my state of mind. Is this becoming very clear? So, why is there dukkha? Because of? So, what is the cause of misery? My craving. So, craving means here craving and aversion. Both fall under craving. Yeah. In Pali, it's called tanha. Very similar to the Marathi word tahan. What's the Hindi word?
Trishna.
Trishna. Yeah. In Pali, it is tanha. My craving, my thirst creates all this drama in me. And that he has translated. Now understand, this is translated book. Are you getting it? So there are going to be mistakes in understanding of this person because they don't know Pali as the first language. Okay? So I'll help point out the mistakes. The biggest mistake is they've called ekagrata concentration. Is ekagrata concentration? What is ekagrata? Collectedness. So wherever you see concentration in this book, collectedness. This you understood because you understand the language. So there will be some words that I will keep telling you to scratch out and change. So understand this, that one thing he's correctly described, which an Indian would not have, is calling tanha lust. What would we do? We put it as thirst. Yeah? But like I told a few people, in the German language, when you ask, are you interested in doing this today? Are you interested in coming for a movie? They say, haben Sie Lust? Do you have the lust for going to the theater? Do you have lust for going to the club? Do you have lust for this book? Are you seeing this? And it's a very commonly used thing. Yeah, they use the correct word. So at some places, we tend to mask. We don't like to use the word lust. Yeah? But he's used the correct word. Yeah? Any little desire is lust. Yeah? So for that, I really commend this guy, Bhikkhu Bodhi. He's done a great job translating that, which we would have masked with thirst. Clear? Can I go to 4-8? When one does not know and see the ear as it actually is, when one does not know and see the nose as it actually is, when one does not know and see the tongue as it actually is, when one does not know and see the body as it actually is, when one does not know and see the mind as it actually is, one experiences bodily and mental suffering. So he explains for one, and the others you have to understand on your own. Yeah. So ear plus sound will give rise to ear consciousness. Ear consciousness plus ear plus sound will that is ear contact. With ear contact as condition, what will happen? Ear feeling will come up. It's basically the feeling that I get by listening to this sound. If it is pleasant, then what happens? Yeah. My reaction is pleasant or happy, good reaction. When it is unpleasant feeling, then my reaction is also like that. What does reaction do? Creates an impression in consciousness. And that impression again comes up in future. Yes? And again I am thirsting for listening to the same words. If they are words of praise, I want praise me again, praise me again, praise me again. You don't praise me again, what happens? In my mind there is turmoil. Only 3 likes I got on Facebook. Last time I got 45 likes. Only 3 likes. Oh, people don't like me. I'm not getting the praise I'm looking for. Are you seeing what I'm saying? Yeah. So mind gets stuck in that. That is lust for praise. Clear? Understood the ear? Yeah. Next is nose. Same, you smell something. Nose plus smell gives rise to nose consciousness. Nose consciousness plus nose plus smell, nose contact. Nose contact as condition, nose feeling. Yeah. You smell a rose, you have a pleasant nose feeling. If you smell garbage, you have an unpleasant feeling, and then you react accordingly. Yeah. And if this room had some garbage smell continuously, would you be able to meditate here? You would continuously think they don't clean, why are they like this, why is this place dirty? And you would be boiling in your own head. So that itself is dukkha. Same for body. Body consciousness is touch. Yeah. And what is mind? Mind and mind consciousness. The thoughts of the 5 senses keep coming. So I have right now eye contact. But this goes away from the scene. I go back, I'm resting. Then I think again about the coconut water. So the form is not in front of me, but the thought of the form is there. So that is mind consciousness. In that, the object is the thought. Yeah. So the object is thought, the mind, and mind consciousness. All 3 lead to mind contact. And mind contact leads to mind feeling. Whatever your feeling was actually just comes back as a memory. And that leads to whatever your reaction is. The same reaction you give that you gave in the hall when you saw the form. Are you seeing how sankhara is created? First time I created by when I see the form, I go back to my room and I keep thinking about it. I'm creating the same sankhara on top of that. Are you getting it? And that's how I build my mountain of sankhara. Because when one knows and sees the I as it actually is, when one knows and sees forms as they actually are, when one knows and sees I consciousness as it actually is, when one knows and sees eye contact as it actually is, when one knows and sees it actually is the feeling felt as pleasant or painful, or neither painful nor pleasant, that arises with eye contact as condition, then one is not inflamed by lust for the eye, for forms, for eye consciousness, for eye contact, for the feeling felt as pleasant, painful, neither painful nor pleasant, that arises with eye contact as condition. Super clear? It's just negating what was said before. When one abides uninflamed by lust, unfettered, uninfatuated, contemplating danger, highlight, contemplating danger, then the five aggregates affected by clinging are diminished for oneself in the future.
One is contemplating that it's going to create more impressions.
This is going to create more impressions. I'm just lusting for this thing. I'm just lusting for this thing. I'm contemplating the danger of the impressions that will be collected. Clear? I'll read it again. When one abides uninflamed by lust, unfettered, uninfatuated, contemplating danger, then the five aggregates affected by clinging are diminished for oneself in the future, and one's craving, which brings renewal of being, is accompanied by delight and lust, and delights in this or that is abandoned. One's bodily and mental troubles are abandoned. One's bodily and mental torments are abandoned. One's bodily and mental fevers are abandoned. And one experiences bodily and mental pleasure. Simple, no? When I see that there is danger in me lusting behind this thing or this person, it could be a person in your life. I'm lusting, I want this, or I don't want it. When one sees this clearly and realizes, this is just dangerous for my karmic bag. It's going on increasing. And he reminds himself to be aware and aware. The lust starts dropping off. Clear? The view of a person such as this is right view. What was right view? The eightfold path, one of the eight. Yeah? So, the view of a person such as this is right view. His intention is right intention. This also you did in the eightfold path. His effort is right effort. This also we've done. His mindfulness is right mindfulness. His concentration is right concentration. How many did you get there? Right view, right intention, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. 5 of them right in one step. But his bodily action, his verbal action, and his livelihood have already been well purified earlier. How? How bodily action, verbal action, and livelihood have been?
The vows.
Plus, he has realized this, no? That I leave eye contact as eye contact. I don't become personal with it. Eye consciousness is eye consciousness. There is no I there. I, the capital I. Yeah, there's nothing personal about this. There's nothing personal about this form. Yes, I take this step back and realize, oh, it's only this body that is attracted to that particular thing. I have got nothing to do with it. After this understanding only, he recognizes there is danger in lusting for this, wanting that, hating that, pushing that away. Yeah, so he has already started the path, such a person. So he already has right action, whether verbal or physical, and his livelihood have already been purified. Thus, this noble eightfold path comes to fulfillment in him by development. When he develops the noble eightfold path, the four foundations of mindfulness also come to fulfillment in him by development. The four right kinds of striving also come to fulfillment in him by development. The four bases for spiritual power also come to fulfillment in him by development. The five faculties also come to fulfillment in him by development. The five powers also come to fulfillment in him by development. The seven enlightenment factors also come to fulfillment in him by development. These two things, serenity and insight, occur in him yoked evenly. Yeah, we will learn all these factors as we keep reading. The two things, serenity and insight, occur in him yoked evenly. What is serenity?
Calmness.
Very calm, very serene, like a very calm lake. Like that the mind becomes. That's serenity. And what's insight?
Intuitiveness.
Oh, what we call Swabhava Jnana. That is insight. That happens naturally. Yes. So you will read the Satipatthana Sutta also. After that, after you do that practice, insight starts developing automatically in you through Satipatthana. That's in the Satipatthana Sutta. So understood how serenity, that calmness of mind, naturally goes with Swabhava Jnana. Can Swabhava Jnana happen in an agitated mind? Not possible, no? Only when you have that serene mind, then insight happens. Yeah? That is your own true knowledge. That is your own truth. He fully understands by direct knowledge those things that should be fully understood by direct knowledge. He abandons by direct knowledge those things that should be abandoned by direct knowledge. He develops by direct knowledge those things that should be developed by direct knowledge. He realizes by direct knowledge those things that should be realized by direct knowledge. And what things should be fully understood by direct knowledge? The answer to that is the five aggregates affected by clinging. That is, the material form aggregate, rupa, affected by clinging. The feeling aggregate affected by clinging, vedana. The perception aggregate affected by clinging, the sanya. The formations aggregate affected by clinging. What is formations?
Consciousness.
Sankhara. Yeah. So his translation is formations. Literally it is impressions are like formations, no? The consciousness aggregate affected by clinging. What is this? Vijnana. Clear? We'll read that again. And what things should be fully understood by direct knowledge? The answer is Rupa, Vijnana, Sanya, Vedana, Sankhara. How do I cling to something? First, I cognize it. After I cognize it, I have an analysis in my head about it. The moment I have an analysis, I've already labeled it, and that label is either a pleasant label or an unpleasant label. So, depending on that, like praise will automatically kick in the pleasant Vedana. Criticism will give me the unpleasant Vedana. You getting it? And because of Vedana, Sankhara is created, my reaction to it, whether internal or external. All this is related to my clinging only, no? Clinging to Rupa. This Rupa. These are the things that should be fully understood by direct knowledge. And what things should be abandoned by direct knowledge? Ignorance and craving. Yeah. For what? What is the meaning of for being? How much jiveshna do we have? We can't live without our phones, see? That is also a form of jiveshna. We can't live without our people. 9 days, see, is such a big struggle for you guys. 2.5 days was such a big struggle. Yesterday night you came and asked me, no, can I check on my children? Are they doing fine? Only 3 hours had passed since you had reached. Jiveshana. Yeah. My Jiveshana is attached to everything and everyone in my life. So, what things should be abandoned by direct knowledge? Ignorance and craving for being. These are the things that should be abandoned by direct knowledge. And what things should be developed by direct knowledge? Serenity and insight. These are the things that should be developed by direct knowledge. And what things should be realized by direct knowledge? True knowledge and deliverance. These are the things that should be realized by direct knowledge. So when I have wisdom, I know how to apply it and find the ways to drop avidya, ignorance. Yeah? The ways of finding my path out of this maya, that is deliverance. So finding a path out of my ignorance is deliverance. When one knows and sees the ear as it actually is, ... the whole thing that we did from the beginning. These are the things that should be realized by direct knowledge. So from the beginning, everything till here for ear. Yeah. Then next, when one knows and sees the nose as it actually is, then ... means from the beginning all the way till here. You're getting it, no? What I mean by ... Yeah. You can read it on your own again from the beginning till here. And when one knows and sees the tongue as it actually is, ... these are the things that should be realized by direct knowledge. And when one knows and sees the body as it actually is, ... these are the things that should be realized by direct knowledge. And the same for the mind. This is what the Blessed One said. The bhikkhus were satisfied and delighted in the Blessed One's words.